Hi everybody, I'm Scott Weaver with ULR Properties. Thanks for checking out our channel. Today I'm going to talk about what mortgage forbearance is, how to request it, and what some of the implications are for the real estate market. First off, if you haven't lost your job or your tenants have paid you their rent on your investment property, just pay your mortgage. This is not the time to take advantage of an already overburdened system. When we take a look at the numbers later on in this video, you'll see it's already in pretty bad shape. So as soon as the lockdowns began, Congress took immediate action and passed the CARES Act. That's the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act. The first protection is a moratorium on foreclosures. Even without that, most local governments have closed the courts, so foreclosures aren't happening anyway. The second protection is the right to forbearance. All you have to do is tell your mortgage servicer that you are experiencing hardship due to COVID-19, and they are required to give you a 6-month forbearance on payments. Now remember, these protections are for federally backed mortgages, which make up 50% of the mortgages that are out there in the United States. Now, if you fall in the other 50%, there's still a lot of protections. Many states have already passed legislation requiring private servicers to give you forbearance, but you can also just talk to your servicer and see what programs they are offering. I know of many local banks that are offering very similar protections to the federal program. So if you are in the position where you lost your job and you can't make your payments, or your tenants stop paying you on your investment property, you have some important decisions to make. For the first, if you lost your job, it's pretty simple. You need to call your servicer and let them know your financial situation. I would recommend at least making partial payments, if at all possible, to prevent from getting too far behind. If you have an investment property where your tenants aren't paying you, you are in a tough spot. If you have reserves though, I would recommend paying your mortgage. The problem with requesting forbearance right off the bat is that at best, you're effectively increasing your principal by tacking on the payments at the end of the mortgage, and at worst, you're facing a balloon payment in a year or so. On the surface, the whole forbearance thing sounds like a decent solution, but if you look a little bit deeper, there seems to be some serious problems. In the United States today, there are between 60 and 70 million mortgages. At the beginning of April, so a couple weeks ago, there was already 3.75% of those 60 to 70 million mortgages that had requested forbearance. By comparison, at the beginning of March, there were only 0.25%. That means the country is at the front end of going from about 150,000 loans, mortgages in forbearance to well over 2 million. And with the average mortgage being about $148,000, we're looking at about a $300 billion problem. Realizing that we're in the first month of this crisis, that number is going to get a whole lot bigger. And while that's a big problem for the federal government, it's an impossible problem for private companies. Like I said earlier, only about half of the mortgages in the US are federally backed. The rest are privately serviced, and they don't get forbearance from their note holders. And I guarantee they can't handle a 1,500% jump in their delinquencies. Based off of those numbers, I would say that we'd be headed for a market crash if I hadn't seen how fast Congress acted to pass $2 trillion in relief. So my best guess is Congress will act again with some more legislation and pass relief specifically for the mortgage industry. And that is what will keep the market afloat and keep home prices from crashing. And that's my best guess. I hope this video helped explain what's happening with mortgage forbearance. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment or shoot me a direct message, and I'll see you next time.